Whether from our changing habits of how we buy things, or from just poor business management, many beloved retailers have been forced to shut their doors over the years. While some have tried to merge with other companies, and a handful attempted to reinvent themselves, many simply closed their doors forever and surrendered to the march of time. These are defunct retail chains we used to love. Payless ShoeSource, which started in 1956, was one of the top retailers of discount shoes. It had more than 3,500 stores in 40 different countries. The company filed for bankruptcy in 2017, which resulted in the closing of 673 stores initially. But later in 2019, the company also announced that it would also close all 2,100 remaining stores in the United States, as well as shut down their online operation. After 63 years, Payless ShoeSource was completely gone. Western Auto, which was officially Western Auto Supply Company, started selling car parts and accessories way back in 1909. It would go on to sell much more than just auto parts. They became well known for their firearms and bicycles too. What began as a mail-order business in Kansas City ultimately became a chain of 1,200 company-owned stores across the U.S., as well as more than 4,000 private franchises. Toward the end, Western Auto would go through a series of sales to other companies, one of them being Sears in the late 1980s. By 2003, the brand was owned by Advance Auto Parts, and the Western Auto name was officially phased out. Borders Books was founded in 1978, and the company would grow to be one of the largest booksellers in the country. It was a book and music megastore, with more than 400 stores nationwide. But after 33 years, the bookstore was liquidated because they had too much inventory in CDs and DVDs at a point when everything was going digital. Borders also failed to develop an online store, so they could compete with other retailers like Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Borders closed in 2011, but the last year they were actually profitable was 2006. Recollection Road is proud to partner with Legacybox. Watch until the end of this video to find out more about digitizing your family's irreplaceable memories, and then visit legacybox.com/recollection for an incredible 55% off. Back in the 1970s and 1980s, Circuit City was on top of the electronics retail world. They were founded in 1949 and pioneered the big box concept, making it a one-stop shop for everything from televisions and stereos to refrigerators and even automobiles, which would later spin off into CarMax. At its height, Circuit City had over 1,500 stores across the United States and Canada. But in the 1990s, things began to change. The store just became too big and too impersonal, and they also stopped paying commissions to their sales team, which took away incentives for selling. When the financial crisis struck in 2008, Circuit City began closing stores and laying off its employees, eventually closing in 2009 due to bankruptcy. For more than 100 years, Eckerd's was much more than a household name. It started in 1898 in Erie, Pennsylvania, when J. Milton Eckerd opened his first store. Over time, the drugstore empire had more than 2,000 stores in 20 states. In 2004, the company was broken up, and CVS acquired nearly 1,300 Eckerd locations, along with their mail-order pharmacy business. This made CVS the country's largest drugstore chain, ahead of Walgreens, and the remaining Eckerd stores, along with the name, were acquired by Rite Aid in 2007. So after 109 years, the Eckerd name was completely phased out, and all remaining locations were converted into Rite Aids. When Family Video finally went out of business in 2022, it was the last remaining brick-and-mortar video rental chain in the country. Family Video, which began in 1978, was primarily in small and mid-sized cities, initially trying to avoid competition with Blockbuster. The company also worked hard to diversify what they offered, at one point even partnering with a pizza brand to give customers a one-stop shop for their movie night. Despite consumers shifting away from physical VHS and DVDs to streaming services, Family Video would blame the COVID-19 pandemic for its failure, citing the lack of foot traffic and fewer movie releases as major obstacles to their success. As all their physical locations closed in 2021, business moved online, where they sold new and used videos. But that too would come to an end by 2022. The Family Video chain was officially dead after 44 years. You may not even realize that there was another large-scale home improvement store competing with Home Depot and Lowe's, but there was, and that store was called Builders Square. Technically, it was one of the original big box stores for builders and DIYers. The store was founded in 1970, and it grew to over 160 stores by the mid-1990s. Eventually, reorganization and mergers would lead to the demise of Builders Square. They officially filed for bankruptcy and shut their doors in 1999, making them yet another chain of stores that no longer exists. Fry's Electronics was a relatively small chain that started in 1985 in California. The store grew to become a superstore that sold everything from microprocessors to snack foods. They grew to over 30 stores in 9 different states, and Fry's was one of the last big retailers of software, consumer electronics, household appliances, and computer hardware. They had a pretty devoted following, so when it was announced that stores were closing in 2021, fans of the chain were devastated. What began as one store in Sunnyvale, California, ballooned to a $2.4 billion business by 2008. But after a series of bad business decisions and simply a bad business environment, Fry's abruptly announced it was closing. Pier 1 Imports first opened to sell beanbag chairs, incense, and love beads to hippies in 1962. Pier 1 became known for stocking some of the most unique home goods on the market. But with shopping moving more and more online during the early 2000s, Pier 1 began to be downgraded. The financial crisis was the next hurdle, and the company just never recovered. By the time the COVID-19 shutdown occurred in 2020, the company was filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, and they just weren't able to find a buyer to bail them out. All of the physical stores were closed by Halloween of 2021. Let me know in the comments if I missed anything, and make sure to sign up for the Recollection Road newsletter using the link in the description. Recollection Road and Legacybox both believe it's important to preserve the past. If you're like me, there's a box of your family's treasured home movies and photos tucked away somewhere, and Legacybox can help you preserve them digitally. The process is a simple and safe solution for converting your home movies and photos to thumb drive or to the cloud. Just send in your Legacybox filled with old VHS and camcorder tapes, film reels, and pictures, and get back digital copies that can be easily enjoyed, shared, and kept organized. It's that easy. Legacybox is trusted by over 1 million people, and it's all done right here in the USA. Get started preserving your past today. Go to legacybox.com/recollection to get an incredible 55% off. Buy today to take advantage of this exclusive offer and send in your memories when you're ready. Go to legacybox.com/recollection to save 55% while supplies last. If you enjoyed this video, consider watching the other videos in this series. While you're at it, hit subscribe and share Recollection Road with someone you know. As always, thank you so much for watching.